Take two. Now, one of the areas of history for Havre de Grace that I'd like to talk about is most people that are alive today from back in the day knew about the Burns Brothers Apartments house building that was over on Greens and Stoke Street that burnt in Christmas Day 1968. But the burn before that, before it became the apartment building, I believe back in the 20s, it was the Burns Brothers Carriage House. And the first Burns Brothers Carriage House was actually located down on Water Street, right across from the marina. On that corner, there was two buildings for the Burns Brothers Carriage Houses. And you'll be able to see these a little bit better on our blog and on our website that I have some of these pictures posted. And I've also posted them on Facebook before. But the first Burns Brothers Carriage House was down on Water Street, and then it burnt down, and they moved it up to Green and Stoke Street, which was one of the largest, at one time was the largest carriage factory in the state. Here I have a Burns Brothers little contract piece that I picked up at a yard sale that was on Route 40 in Cecil County. I found it just going through some stuff at a yard sale. And that's where I like to try and find my stuff. But if anybody has anything that I could get, I would love to. Another piece I found was a lease form from the Burns Brothers. They would lease different things out or make a carriage, and this is their contract with you. A lot of information that I got was from one of the descendants, Gary Burns. He let me scan, or he sent me scans of the pamphlet of all the carriages that the Burns Brothers built. They also had a vehicle for 2 years, the Burns Brothers vehicle. And if anybody knows where one of those are, please let me know, because I would love to see one. The only thing that I knew of at one time that was built by the Burns Brothers, is still in existence, was a hose carrier, and it's all been completely redone, and it's in the fire station over in Perryville, all beautifully restored.
Fire station or?
It's either the fire station or the train station in Perryville. And then I was asking around for people, and Mr. Boat, who does up at Stepping Stone Museum, has a display. He even took me into an area that had a picture of a ice wagon. And I know we just did a thing on ice houses, but this ice wagon was built by Burns Brothers. And it has a picture of the tag that says Burns Brothers.
Cool.
So that'll be on our blog page. The Burns Brothers also had a baseball team back in 1906. And this was their team. And you'll be able to read all their names and stuff on the article for the team when on our blog site and on our old Facebook site. But another thing, that back in 1902, the factory burnt down over on Green Street, the carriage factory. Then they built one bigger and better until 1925, when it burnt. But one of the last things that they made, let me see here, it was George Burns, I believe it was, took over the factory in 1908 to 1925, and he did and made mail carriages for the post office. And one of our next little things you'll have to keep abreast of, we'll do a little thing on, are the post offices here in Havre de Grace, where they were, when they were, and what kind of things that they did. Some of the details about the Burns Brothers was, it was on the postal carriage factory was on the Green Street and Stoke Street until 1925, and that's when they changed it to the Burns Apartments. And then, like I said earlier, in 1968, a Christmas Day, it burnt, the apartment burnt to the ground, and then I believe it was in the 80s is when they completely tore the building down, because it was a hazard. Another one of the first pieces that the Burns Brothers did when the fire happened in 1902, that's when the Susquehanna Hose Company came along. And in one of the history pieces that Gary Burns gave me, it talks about the hoses were too short, so they had to use a water bucket system to put the fire out in the carriage house.
Wow.
So check us out on our blog. That was just a little bit about the Burns brothers. Check our blog out at bahoukas.net. Check us out on Facebook. Go to bahoukas.com. And if you come across any Burns or any Havre de Grace history, please contact me and let me know. Thank you.